har me hearties, it's that time again. Shear me timbers, splice the mainsail, grab your paintbrush. It's time for that lazy pirate life. Har har! About a month ago, I decided that I wanted to get into a new game. That game was Turnip 28 by Max Fitzgerald. This is an indie game where you do a lot of kit bashing. It's based about 1,000 years after the Napoleonic Wars. Well, the war never ended. People just carried on fighting. So technology is stagnated, and all that grows is a root. So let's have a look at my forces. So the first force I did was this regiment. That is what war bands or armies are called in Turnip 28. So this regiment is the 14th Feasting Diggers. So each regiment is built up of snobs, which are the leader class, and then followers. So let's have a look at this regiment. So we start off with the actual leader, who is called a toff. So this is the chap I've done for this. So, and his two second in commands are two toadies. So I have one standard and this one here. So for each of these command models, you get allotted a certain amount of troops or followers. So for each Toft, you can bring 2 units of followers, and for each toady you get 1. So let's have a look at the followers for this regiment. So move those out of the way. So for this regiment, I have brought a unit of fodder, which is the standard infantry unit for this army. I've decided to do my multi-base because I love multi-basing. So a lot of people put them on individual bases. So there with hand weapons, and next to them I have another unit of fodder with black powdered weapons. So I've used a lot of different types of components for these. All the periplastics, some mantic stuff, some Fosgrave stuff, all that type of stuff. Right, now the next two, I bought a stump gun. This is the, I think it's a Warlord AWI cannon. And I've also a unit of chaff, which are like skirmishing sharpshooters, and these ones have crossbows. So that was my initial first regiment. So let's move on to my second regiment. So my second regiment is the 69th Disciples of the Snip. So let's have a closer look at these. Now, as you see, there's this massive big model here. Now, this is a root shrine. So once you get past the initial regiments, there's what known as cults. So this will be used in one of the cult armies called the Procession of Woe. So this will represent my Toff when I use that cult army. So, but to start off with, I'm not going to use that. That will be for later games. So I'm going to start off with the standard force. So let's have a look at what we've got. here are the snobs for this regiment. So the chap in the front I'm going to use either as the toft when I'm not using the root shrine, or I could also use him as a toady if I'm using the root shrine. So we just kit bast. And the other two toadies are XGW metal models, so which I've just turnipped up. So that's the commanders. So let's move on to the units. So the first unit is another unit of chaff. Now these, as you can see, are slightly different. These are black powder armed. So again, they're skirmishers. So I made these using cultists and halfling weapons, rifle arms from Max Games. So they were pretty well, I thought. So moving on to there, we've got another one of the AWI artillery pieces for another stub gun. You can see I've green stuffed the faces on these, given that turnipping look. So you see a lot of the pictures, they wear these type of masks or helmets. So I'll just like sculpt some on here, just using green stuff. Not the best of sculptors, but yeah, you get the impression. In the final two units, we have another unit of fodder with hand weapons. And see again, I've used gripping beast models for these mainly at the base, and then added cultist heads, a mixture of weapons again using the sort of romantic scarecrow models on that. I resumed some World War II arms in there. This one over here, this pick arm. It's from the World War II British, I think it's Warlord Desert Rats. So yeah. So that's the third unit, and the final unit is a unit of brutes. So these are the elite hand-to-hand fighters. So basically for these I've used the bodies and weapons from the French 100 Years War Perry miniatures, and then added the cultist heads from the Frostgrave cults. So yeah, so that's the 4 units for this regiment. I've also started adding a few additional bits and pieces. So I've made another toft, which I'm probably going to build another regiment for this chap. So that's an additional toft, and I've started doing some objective markers. So just green stuffed a few root vegetables to represent objectives for the game. So I need to get 5 different ones, so I'll start working on some more. I'll also start working on some other units for these regiments, including some of the cavalry units. So we'll have to wait and see how they turn up. Well, the rules and the fluff and the army lists for Turnip 28 are all free to download off of Max Fitzgerald's Patreon page. So I'll pop a few links below so people can pop along and have a look and see what they think. As I said, it's a new venture for me, so I haven't actually played the game yet. I built 2 of the regiments to see what the game's like. Hopefully going to get a game in a couple of weeks' time and report back, and maybe even do a battle report for the channel. So that's it for now. Cheers.